Solidarity. Let's start.
What's the story we're trying to tell?
Innovation. We should do it this way.
Macro, micro.
How do you feel about consistency?
We could always just have a voice, or body part, or hand, or...
I do like a narrative story.
We don't need to know what to play.
There are different ways of activism, ways of action.
Well, it's not enough.
We're fucking up all the time. We're always experiencing shame.
Well, shame is just the expectation that we're always useful.
Whether or not we're useful. Art has been my scapegoat. Community.
But when you don't trust anyone?
When you don't trust anyone?
You know what I mean, right?
Falling and catching.
Off and on.
The old witch woman retired to live in a cave, and though within the city limits of Manhattan, she lived a reclusive life. She rejected her wealth and mostly kept the company of raccoons. I met the witch woman near an entrance to the tunnel by Hudson Yards, and me and my friends were looking for a place to get high. And immediately I knew that this woman was robed in immense power. She was once a high-powered network TV executive, but she gave that up. She burned her books and drowned her cameras and renounced her magic. And she has magic, literal magic. She can say words and change the world. She says that anyone can do that, but that's not true. When you try to cast a spell, you'll soon find all these souls you're trying to influence are illiterate. Your words and books mean nothing to them. But when the witch woman writes that the politician is actually a horse's ass, though nothing about the politician has changed, everyone in the city now sees him as a joke. His important speeches now sound like braying, and even his long face and stupid ears and buck teeth betray who he truly is. But the witch woman says, simply by sight we are all connected. That beneath our consciousness, when we see another person's emotions, our own emotions are triggered. That nothing is passed between these people, but they are still tied together by telepathy. The witch woman explained she banished herself to the tunnels because she weaved an unforgivable curse, one that took a long time to wind its way into people's minds and warp their worlds. And the spell was simple. Some people are people, and some people aren't. And this spell is difficult to get people to believe. People see themselves in each other almost automatically. So to cast this unforgivable curse, the first thing you need to do is limit who gets seen. The people who are people, show them off all the time. Put them in the spotlight, make them both beautiful and relatable. Do not mention the people who are not people. Do not show them off. Do not even mention that you are not mentioning them. If the people who are not people must be discussed, they shouldn't be allowed to discuss themselves. Have one of the people who are people explain their situation for them. And while this is a good start, it is not nearly enough. You must show, and slowly at first, acts of violence against the people who are not people. After you show the violence against the people who are not people, you must immediately switch focus to the people who are people. Show how the greatest tragedy is not violence against people who are not people, but how that violence makes the people who are people feel. Don't mention the feelings of the teenager who was shot. Spend a long time with the poor, scared cop who's shot him. Don't mention the people who are bombed. Spend a long time talking with the people who dropped the bombs. And let the people who dropped the bombs explain how routine and moral all of this actually is. Then show as much violence against the people who are not people as you possibly can. Make it so the first association you think of is that they are destined for violence. And it has been like this all along. Make everyone so tired of hearing about the people who are not people and all the attacks against them that everyone feels they need to actively avoid the news about the people who are not people for their own mental health. Even the people who are not people will see themselves and say, that can't be us. That is not us because those are not real people. How dare you associate us with them? Now, me and my friends were very taken aback by everything the old witch woman explained to us. It was a whole lot. And we had also finished our weed and were stoned and kind of hungry. So instead of dwelling on a curse placed on an entire nation, we simply said we better be going and looked for a smoothie place because we were thirsty.
When all falls away, all you know, all that you prayed for, taken away, nothing to be done,
nothing to be said,
forgetting where we've been, forgetting what we did. There's no taking back what we did. Nothing to be done, no sides to be won. All that you have, you bring with you to bed. You bring with you to bed.
Macro, micro, micro, macro, right? An opening, clouds above your head. There are steps to it, but it's not like walking. Steps like brewing the coffee, steps like brushing your teeth. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. Time is always there. Time like my mom calls and leaves a voicemail, and I swear I'll call you back, and then by the end of the night I'm sorry, I'll call you tomorrow. It's just that I woke up today and then I had to teach and then I had this audition and my manager wouldn't pick up and I just and then I talked to my friend who's having a hard time, and then we started talking about how I'm having a hard time, like with Gaza, or like work, or this industry, or like theater and capitalism. how can we talk about genocide and old presidents? And I feel grateful because I could be dead. Like, I'm grateful because we could all be dead. And so, I'm grateful. Because that's all I can be. And I woke up with a boulder on my head. Now, is that a dream, or a figure of speech, or a reality? I don't know. But I can't stop thinking about how there are places in the world where rubble from big buildings is falling and taking people's breath away. And breathing is such a small, important, and involuntary thing, and yet it's so easily taken away. And yeah, it just feels like there's not enough time. Like, it just feels like we're not giving things enough time. Like, I don't know, it feels like I'm not doing enough. It feels like I'm here, like we're here, we're all here, waking up, and it just feels like we're not doing enough. And I know that that's an overgeneralization, but maybe it seems to me like there are less people that are doing anything, or there are more people that are doing nothing than there are people who are doing. And yeah, maybe I guess I just feel like I'm just talking. And I guess it's good that we're talking, right? But that's not enough. Like, that's not a joke. It's not enough.